Right. Good morning. The Antikythera device, what is it? It's basically an ancient mechanical computer that was composed of gears and dials that help predict eclipses and also positions of the sun and moon. Now, the Antikythera device was found off the island of Antikythera, hence the name. Now then, there are two debated places of where the Antikythera device was actually created. People have actually thought that it was created off the island of Rhodes, where there is known to be like an astronomy, like a university from the ancient Greek world. But also, recent evidence because the glyphs have pointed towards Corinth origins, which lead them to believe that it was probably made in the city of Syracuse, which is about right here on the island of Sicily, where the great mathematician Archimedes lived. However, the Antikythera device is believed to have been made between 150 BC and 100 BC. And since Archimedes died in about 200-something BC, therefore it cannot possibly be made. Perhaps it was in condition in Syracuse to make the device. Now, here's one of the main fragments. The gears of the Antikythera device are actually quite fantastic, in my opinion, due to the fact that they are actually some of the most advanced gears in the ancient world. Before then, gears were thought to have believed to have been done for crude mechanical tasks. The gears were, actually, you can't really see them in this fragment, but the gears were actually little tiny equilateral triangles. While inefficient, there was very little error between each gear. And even one gear had 225 little gears in it, which is more than what we originally previously expected. Now here's one of the basic pictures. It's actually what we think the Antikythera device looked like. Unfortunately, there's not much detail. But anyways, right here in the picture that I do not have, there's actually a lot of script right here showing the instructions how to use the device, which has led us to believe that it was actually used for travelers. It was actually meant to be kind of fit in your pocket, not literally in your pocket, but in a backpack of sorts. And also, I forgot. Here's basically the internal gear work of the Antikythera device. Unfortunately, I do not have another picture like this, so I'm basically going to be kind of pointing towards this. Right here is actually a very interesting little piece. It was kind of a moon phase indicator. The type of piece of technology like that would not turn up for more than a millennia with the Wellington Ford clock in 1356. And also, right here is the zodiac calendar and the Egyptian calendar. But the Egyptian calendar measured our time, which is 365 days of the zodiac. And also, unfortunately, you do not see it, but also there's some hypothetical things where the moon would be in the zodiac calendar, and also perhaps the ancient original classical 5 planets, which is Mars, Venus, Mercury, Saturn, and Jupiter. Now here are the date dials. Right here is something called the Metonic dial, which is basically measured 235 lunar months. It was actually originally discovered by the Babylonians, but all the credit is given to Meton of Athens. And right here's a very special little dial, which I shall get to later. Right here's the Saros cycle right here, which actually kind of measured ellipses. I believe that's my next slide. I have no idea. Yes, the Saros dial. This measured basically the eclipses of the sun and the moon. Right here is kind of unfortunately, the Saros dial is actually, the Saros cycle in upon itself is actually kind of faulty, so therefore you need to add kind of an extra month or so every 56 or 59 years, I forget exactly which. And also, what's kind of interesting about the entire cycle itself, both the Saros dial and the Metonic dial above, is that these little grooves right here, this thing would actually kind of follow it all the way around, kind of the little dial to show you what the date was. And let's see what it is. Here's something that's called the social dial. It's actually Olympian. It's actually known as the Olympiad dial because it measured the Greek games. Right here's year 1 where the Nemean Games would begin. Right here is where the Olympiad Games would be played in Olympus. This actually led so many people to believe that the Antikythera device was actually more of a social device than an actual scientific device. Also because of its small size, and also because since it was believed to have been made by travelers, it was not actually truly a scientific device. It was actually used for more of a cultural device.